Hi, I'm Ross Benjamin reporting for the Offshore Gaming Association. That's OSGA.com, your number one source for information on the offshore sportsbook industry. That's OSGA.com. It's Friday, June the 14th, and I'm going to be covering the series between the two top teams in the National League East Division, the Philadelphia Phillies and the Atlanta Braves. That series will take place in Atlanta starting with tonight. And currently, as we speak, the Phillies are 38 and 30, Atlanta 40 and 29. The first place Braves have a 1.5 game lead over the second place Phillies. So this shapes up to be an important early, still relatively early in the season series matchup. These teams have met once this season. It was in the opening series of 2019 for both teams, and Philadelphia swept that series in 3 games, and they outscored the Atlanta Braves during that time 23-11. However, Atlanta comes into this series riding a 7-game win streak, and they've also won 10 of their last 12. So the Braves are red hot right now. Their bats have been on fire during this 7-game win streak. Atlanta has a team OPS of 910 and has scored 6 runs or more on 6 of those 7 occasions. The Phillies are coming off a 3-3 homestand where they faced the Cincinnati Reds and the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is also a Philadelphia team that will be facing 2 left-handed pitchers in this series, or scheduled to face 2 left-handed pitchers in this series, I might add. They will be facing in Game 1, they'll be facing Max Fried, and in Game 2, they'll be facing Sean Newcomb, according to the Atlanta Braves rotation. Both of those starting pitchers are southpaws, and that's very important to note because the Phillies are a very good 32-19 versus right-handed starters this year, and only 6-11 versus southpaws. The Atlanta Braves last year, this again will be their first series at home against Philadelphia. This season, last year, the Braves were a dominating 8-2 at home against Philadelphia. And also worth noting, the Atlanta Braves, since the start of last year, have gone 59-34 versus division opponents, while the Philadelphia Phillies, when facing division opponents on the road, have gone just 16-29 since the start of last season. Let's go game by game here. Starting with Game 1, as I alluded to, Max Fried will get the start tonight, Friday to June 13th, for the Atlanta Braves, while it'll be right-hander Nick Pivetta on the mound for Philadelphia. Fried has showed bad form over his last 3 starts for the Braves, and that's evidenced by a 6.89 ERA and 191 whip during those outings. However, in 6 home starts this year, Fried has a very good 2.75 ERA, a 1.00 whip, and he has struck out 33 while walking only 6 in those outings. It's been sort of a roller coaster ride for Nick Pivetta of the Phillies during his first couple of years, which is fairly common for young pitchers stepping up to the major leagues. But his last 3 starts have been outstanding. During that time, Pivetta, a 1.80 ERA, a 0.70 whip, and he struck out 21 while walking only 2. He did make 1 start against Atlanta this year in the opening series of the year. Not a very good outing in that case. Pivetta allowed 4 earned runs on 8 hits while walking 1 and just 4 2/3 innings pitched. On the other hand, Max Fried of Atlanta will be making his first career start against Philadelphia. On Saturday evening, we will see Aaron Nola get the start for Philadelphia, and Sean Newcomb is scheduled to be pitching for the Atlanta Braves. Newcomb, once again, a left-handed pitcher. I alluded to earlier, Philadelphia much better against righties than against lefties this year by a long stretch. Nola's 6-1 this year in 14 starts, but he hasn't been as imposing as he was a year ago. During those 14 starts, just a 4.58 ERA and an alarmingly high 149 whip. This is a right-handed youngster that won 17 games for Atlanta a season ago. He did start against the Atlanta Braves on opening day this year and was very effective in doing so. During that start, Nola went 6 innings, allowed just one earned run on 2 hits, but he did walk 5 in those 6 innings pitched. Nola has not pitched very well on the road, folks. As a matter of fact, all 5 of his road starts have gone over the total, and his 6.75 ERA and 158 WHIP were a major contributing factor as to why those games were high-scoring affairs. On the other hand, Sean Newcomb, he'll be making just his 4th start of the year. This is a pitcher who started 30 games for the Braves a season ago. He started, actually, his last 16 appearances have all come in relief. He hasn't started a game for the Braves since April 13th, but he has posted combination starts and relief appearances, a 2.59 ERA. Now, having said that, his last 7 relief appearances, Newcomb in 9 1/3 innings pitched has a tremendous 0.96 ERA and 0.75 WHIP. In his last relief appearance, he went over 4 innings pitched. So this is a guy that Atlanta can really rely on to give them 5 to 6 solid innings if need be. Now, the final game of the series comes on Sunday, and that's a day game. And we must note the Philadelphia Phillies have been a very good 15-8 in day games this year. Atlanta, a very respectable 10-7 during the day. In addition, the Phillies are 12-8 in game threes of a series this year, while Atlanta is 14-6 in game threes. And even better, if you combine games 3 and 4 in a series this year, the Braves are 18-7 in that role. That's a 720 win percentage. So both teams very good in this situation. Jared Eichhoff is scheduled to make the start for Philadelphia. He's really struggled of late. I would not be shocked at all if Eichhoff gets scratched from this start and somebody else gets the opportunity. But having said that, on paper, he is a scheduled starter, and it will be his turn in the rotation. His last 6 starts, an 8.89 ERA. Eichhoff has allowed 16 home runs and 27 1/3 innings pitched this year. And a majority of home runs he's allowed have come at home, which is a good sign for the Phillies. At home, Eichhoff 13 home runs and 34 1/3 innings pitched. On the road, 3 home runs in 27 innings pitched. That's 1 every 9 innings. So he's been much more vulnerable to allowing the long ball at home than on the road. Mike Foltynewicz is unequivocally the weak link in the Atlanta Braves rotation, and he's slated to make the start on Sunday. In 9 starts this year, Foltynewicz, it's easy for me to say, has a 6.02 ERA in those 9 starts. He's also been very susceptible to allowing home runs. As a matter of fact, Foltynewicz, 15 home runs surrendered in 49 1/3 innings pitched this year. And if you want to know why I'm referring to him as a weak link, not only a very high ERA in those 9 starts, but the Atlanta Braves are 2-7 this season with Foltynewicz as their starter, and 38-22 with all other pitchers as their starters. So quite a difference there. And this one we might see a lot of runs being scored on Sunday with these 2 pitchers on the mound, 2 struggling pitchers. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if Eichhoff gets scratched, but we'll see what happens. I like the Atlanta Braves here to at least win 2 of 3 in this series, and it wouldn't shock me at all if the Atlanta Braves get their retribution after being swept earlier this year in Philadelphia, and they pull off a 3-0 sweep themselves. But if I had to make this series pick right now, I would safely say I'd take Atlanta at this juncture. Again, my name is Ross Benjamin. You can find my personal website, rbwins.com, where there you could find all the games I personally wager the most money on myself. You pay a little to make a lot. That's rbwins.com. And until the next time, folks, good luck with all your picks.